Good evening, YouTube. It is your boy, Cuck, the cyber programmer, and about 30 to 45 minutes ago, I was jerking off to the death battle. It was really accurate, and I'm a mindless death battle fanboy. So yeah, let's debunk this shit, I guess.
Hey guys, Seth the Pussy here. We are going to be talking about Gaara versus Toph, Death Battle, ScrewAttack. You guys have been bombarding me with this one. You guys really want to fucking see me debunk this, so let's get right into it. With me today, I of course have Chuck the Cyber Cock, and we are going to be shitting on this vid. So without further ado, let's whip our dicks out and cream pie the fuck out of it. Fuck that. The death battle was retarded. Okay. It was like they didn't even try to scale the characters and show you how strong they were. They're just like, Gaara's pretty tough. Wow, Toph is pretty tough too. But I don't know. I just think that Toph can fight better. And since Gaara, you know, he uses the earth, and like Toph like manipulates the earth, like she would just manipulate his earth and she would totally win, bro. Like that was the whole fucking battle, bro. Like it was like the equivalent, right? You take Batman, okay, take off his fucking clothes, like he's naked, right? Throw in Goku, throw him into a ring. Goku's naked too. Goku goes Super Saiyan God 18 and a half and just got his mystic potential unlocked. And Batman is no prep time, didn't see this coming, has no tools. He has to fight Goku, right? Goku has the same stats. Batman has his same stats. ScrewAttack is basically saying, well, I don't know. Goku's pretty tough. I think Batman knows what he's doing. Batman knows a lot of martial arts, and so does Goku. But Batman knows more martial arts, so I think he would probably beat Goku. Like that was the equivalent of this fucking shitstorm of a video. Like, I don't think there's really anything else to be said. So, without further ado, the cuck boy himself is going to be going into detail about the strength of Toph and Gaara, so we can give you an idea of how this would really go.
Okay, so basically, Toph with her earth bending, she's able to do a bunch of crazy shit in, Avatar: The Last Airbender. For example, in I believe season 2, she actually like was holding in place a section of this library that was like underneath all this sand. She was basically like holding it in place so it wouldn't sink, right? So like Aang and all the other guys could like fucking get out of there. So I mean, that's at the very least like building level like strength, right? With the earth bending.
Yeah, she also fought King Boomy, right?
He was able to match Boomy, who was basically able to like lift like this huge statue over his head. So like easily she has building large building level like strength with with those feats.
Yeah.
And however, the speed is actually a bit harder to scale off of because there aren't really any solid like speed feats in that series.
Yep.
However, you could like sort of scale Wank off of Zuko and Iroh and Ozai, because they can redirect lightning. So they're able to react, to like, throwing lightning at each other and redirecting it. So, if we imply that Toph is, relatively sick to Zuko, then she would be around that range. And of course, with the absolute Wank. But we're just going to say that at the very max, she's the least at lightning speed.
Yeah. So, and other than that, her best feat is the King Boomy. You were talking to me about like some crazy shit. Some motherfuckers telling you that like, they can lift the planet or some shit. Going to detail. What the fuck were they talking about with that, bro?
Okay, so basically there was like this feat in like the Avatar comic books. They're like an extra to the series, right? They're like in this underground area, and it's about to collapse. It's kind of like a cave system, I guess you could say, like an underground tunnel system, whatever. It's like collapsing, and then Toph is holding it in place so it doesn't fall on them. And Katara says that she's literally holding like the weight of their world, right? And people basically interpret it, they think that she's lifting the fucking earth.
Okay, taking hyperboles like literally. Yeah, well, what's the problem with that? Like, go into detail why that doesn't work.
Okay, first off, she's shown that, I mean, like, she's basically struggled, with like holding the library in place. Yeah. If I remember correctly, she wasn't even able to like hold it in place like for a long time, right? She was actually beginning to struggle. I mean, it would just make no sense that like someone like that strong, would just struggle with that kind of stuff, right? And also, as I said, hyperbole. So,
yeah, it's like if King Boomy is so fucking impressive, then how did they go from building level being impressive to planet level just being like a normal thing? Like, what? No, and it's the only situation. It's just a statement. It's not like it shook out it panned a shot of the Earth and the Earth was just shaking around like she was carrying her or some shit. What were they in? They're like in a cave or something. Yeah, there's no inclination she actually lifted the fucking planet. There's no guide that says, well, yeah, Toph could easily just earthbend the entire planet. There's nothing saying that. It's just absolute wank. And speaking of wank, we're going to be saying that Toph is a lightning timer and is large building level. Okay? Large building level lightning timer. That's what we're going to wank her to just for the sake of this video. So now on to my boy Gaara. What has Gaara done? Even in like early part 1, he's fought people with bodies harder than steel. Okay, multiple times harder than steel. Kimimaro, he has bone defense. He can manipulate his bone structure, and his bones are harder than steel. Okay, and what Gaara did is Gaara literally turned the entire forest into his bitch. And he sunk Kimimaro into the forest itself, and the forest turned into like a fucking desert after he swamped this forest. And then he crushed Kimimaro so hard that Kimimaro had to activate his curse mark, which makes him like 5 times stronger because the curse mark 2 makes him 10 times stronger. So he activates his curse mark, makes him like 5 times stronger. So he's now 5 times harder than steel. He then fucking puts a second layer on top of his other layer. So now he has 2 layers of steel, like the 2 layers that are 5 times harder than steel, and it almost fucking kills him. So Gaara literally killed this guy that was almost stronger than steel, and this is also a superhuman as well, mind you. This is an elite Jonin warrior. This guy ain't no joke. And then, so Gaara not only fucking obliterated this forest, but, took out steel objects that, ScrewAttack wanks. Metal's his limit. I mean, if he had to fight metal, I don't think he could do anything with it. He's crushed metal before, as I've stated. So Gaara having metal defense wouldn't fucking matter unless it's like tens of times harder than steel. And this is just when he's a kid. So as a kid, he's showing multi-city block level feats. And then versus Deidara, he literally makes like a giant ass fucking sand tsunami that covers the entire village, which basically puts him at town level. And this sand also it's also capable of absorbing like nuclear bomb level blasts from Deidara. He's also capable of hurting Deidara, who's massively hypersonic and should also be a lightning timer. Gaara has insane offensive abilities in comparison to Toph. Now let's not even get into later in the series when he fights Sage Mode Madara, who's capable of like fucking fist fighting the Bijou, who are casual mountain busters, right? Let's not even get into that. But as you can see, the power range is a bit different. Okay, it's like when the 5 Kage saw Madara with his giant ass Susanoo. It's kind of like that. Like they just don't really stand a fucking chance at all. So in terms of speed, what do you want to go for speed? Do you want to talk about that or?
I remember, like, you spoke in your Itachi video that, like, half dead Itachi, he was, like, sick. He was able to, like, keep up with, like, lighting timer.
He was blind, yeah. He literally...
So, basically, even while heavily suppressed, he's, like, still, able to, like, basically be lightning, timer, so...
Yeah, so half dead Itachi, while blind, is able to react to lightning. Kakashi, when he was much younger, as stated in the manga, the data book, and the anime, was able to tag a lightning bolt and run up a cliffside and chop it in half before it could reach from the sky to the ground. And by Might Guy. And in the anime, it was actually stated he was much younger and had like no chakra when he did it. So you could argue Naruto characters are almost all the advanced Jonin level fighters are at least lightning timers for the most part. And then you have fighters like the 3rd Raikage who are way fucking faster than that. You have Bijou Naruto blitzing him. And then you have Gaara fighting Sage Mode, Madara, who can take on groups of these fucking guys all at once. So, yeah, wanked Toph being building level and lightning timer has no fucking pull against Kazekage Gaara, again, who's like fucking town level and it's probably lightning level as well, because he was able to kind of ragdoll Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke, who was able to, blitz around, the 4th Raikage. So, yeah, it's just not looking very good for Toph. I mean, what was their argument anyway that she could beat Toph? Like I said in the beginning of this video, it was basically like they were arguing skill versus skill instead of power versus power, right? So what were they saying about like the skill versus skill? Like what exactly did they say about that?
They said that that Gaara is really strong and all that shit, and that since he has he has like dust and has a sand, so basically Toph can just like manipulate like the metal like or like the earth elements within those two things.
Fucking wank.
Since Gaara like relies on chakra to his defenses, that he would eventually run out, and then Toph could just like
he wouldn't need to defend himself against that bitch.
Basically.
She would get swamped, bro. What would she even do, dude? She would get fucking sucked into a fucking tsunami, man. Like she couldn't even touch him. Like I remember one big thing they did, okay, is like I said in the earlier video, they're like, well, Gaara uses earth and Toph can control the earth, so Toph can control Gaara, like that's why she wins. The problem with that is that Gaara's sand is alive. That shit is living. Like it's imbued with one chakra being like literally your life essence, pretty much in like an energy form. I don't really know how you'd explain it. Look up a video on YouTube of what it is, all right? But it's basically your life energy, okay? Like your stamina, your power, all that shit. It's also possessed by Gaara's dead mother's soul. Don't explain how. It just is, all right? So for Toph to control Gaara's sand, she would have to control the sand, which is way more powerful than she's ever dealt with before by fucking megatons probably of force. Which is probably faster than she is, so she can't really react to it, which is probably airborne as well. And is infused with chakra life essence, meaning that she would have to control Gaara's chakra or overpower it, but we've already proven Gaara's chakra is stronger than her, so she couldn't control the chakra. And two, she would have to overpower Gaara's mom's soul, which is impossible. You don't really, how do you fucking do that? Especially if you're way inferior to Gaara to begin with. So there's no way that she could actually control his sand. And I thought another funny point they brought up is, well, if Gaara's floating in the air, she could sense where he is. Like that was a strong point. It's like, just because she's not disadvantaged by the sand being in the air doesn't give her an advantage about it. Like, I don't know where they were going with that one, but the whole video just didn't make any fucking sense when you think about it. And a good example of why Toph couldn't control Gaara's sand if it was alive. Hey, you can't control something if it's alive. That's why water benders can't control blood, and you need to be specially trained as like a blood bender, and the fucking full moon needs to be out, and your grandma needs to be on her fucking period or something, bro, to work. All right. It's just, there needs to be a lot of prerequisites to control living matter. It's like why you don't really see, benders controlling people. It's because you can't control really living tissue. And it's also, or anything that's alive. So that's why Toph wouldn't be able to control Gaara's sand if it was alive. And just because and also, I wanted to bring this up, Gaara's sand does not have gold in it anymore. It did when he fought his dad. Okay, and he sealed his dad. Also, sealing is another big factor here they're fucking forgetting, is that Gaara could seal Toph easily. He's way more powerful than her and could easily seal her. But regardless of that, Gaara's sand doesn't have gold in it anymore. It was actually stated in the light novels that Gaara, in fact, does not have gold in his sand anymore. That was more like a one-time thing, or it was mainly just during the war. He definitely didn't keep it around. So that's definitely not a strong argument either. And just because he has gold in his sand doesn't somehow give her an advantage. I don't know where you got that from. So, like, if she can bend one thing, it's supposed to be a disadvantage. So why does it matter if she can bend the metal in his sand too? It doesn't really change the argument.
You if you try to scale, like even if you wank Toph, to extreme heights, say she's lightning level, scaling off Zuko and, Iroh, and that she's like at the very least building level, she's still not gonna compete with Gaara. Yeah. And however, we could as a little bonus bring up like adult Gaara versus adult Toph, which would probably still wield the same results.
It'd be worse. It'd be fucking worse. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Toph is really tough, but I mean, she just ain't shit.
Like, I love Avatar. Stop fucking wanking Avatar though, for real. Like, it was a good show.
You're an Avatar.
Like,
you're a fucking Avatar. That's why you wanted to make this video, dude.
Like, Avatar wasn't even about like the power or anything of the show. It's just about like the story and the journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why people even thought Toph was a fucking chance against Gaara. I don't even know how that became a fucking argument. It's just, well, I don't know. One uses the earth, and this one uses the earth too. So I think it'd be a good battle. Like, it's like it's like saying that any character that uses a gun would be a good match for any other character that uses a gun. It's just like no, it's not. It's not how it works. It's like
Master
what's a good
Chief
example?
versus
It's
John Wick.
it's like what is it? It's like comparing Alucard with fucking, those magnums, comparing him to like James Bond, bro. Like just because James Bond uses a gun and Alucard uses some guns doesn't mean that they're the same fucking level, bro. Like I don't know why people getting this shit twisted.
All right, guys, thank you very much for watching this amazing wank video. And about her Naruto over here, Seth the Pussy. Send this to the amazing, beautiful, and scientifically accurate people at ScrewAttack who make amazing videos that are nearly flawless bullshit. But yeah, just let them know they're wrong, like all the videos they've made. But anyways, thank you very much.
Smash that fucking subscribe button, smash that
and
like
the
button,
motherfucking bell button.
and till next time.
Peace out, boys.
Now on to my boy Gaara. What has Gaara done?
That's all you, dude. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, bro.